Histrionics.
Histrionics.
Hit.
Hit.
He raised the hammer and hit the bell.
The robbers hit him over the head with a baseball bat.
The tanks exploded as the plane hit the ground.
He was hit by a car.
The ceiling's low, so be careful you don't hit your head.
She slipped and hit her head on the sidewalk.
Hit the ball as hard as you can. Last year, Griffey hit 49 home runs.
Maria hit the brakes just in time.
Our ship was badly hit and sank within minutes.
A second shot hit her in the back.
The bomb failed to hit its target.
The village has been hit by a devastating drought.
Hurricane Louis is expected to hit at the weekend.
The company has been hard hit by the drop in consumer confidence.
The south of the country is the worst hit by the recession. The south of the country is the worst hit by the recession.
My father hit a bad patch and had to sell the house.
Sales have hit the 1 million mark.
Earnings hit a peak in the early 1980s.
Oil prices have hit rock bottom. Oil prices have hit rock bottom. It's impossible to pinpoint a moment when it hit me that I was a success. It's impossible to pinpoint a moment when it hit me that I was a success.
He was gone before they knew what had hit them.
The smell of stale smoke hit him as he entered.
They hit the main road 2 kilometres further on.
I'll look for work as soon as I hit town. I managed to get a copy of the book before it hit the shops.
The couple hit the headlines last year when their relationship broke down.
After his marriage failed, he hit the bottle big time.
My first instinct was to hit the dirt.
I felt I'd hit a wall with my playing. I felt I'd hit a wall with my playing. Croft's comeback hit the skids yesterday when she lost in the quarter-finals.
Hit your husband where it hurts, in his wallet.
Croft's comeback hit the skids yesterday when she lost in the quarter-finals.
Hit your husband where it hurts, in his wallet.
I knew you'd hit it off with Mike.
The 25-year-old painter hopes to hit it big in New York.
Law graduates are expected to hit the ground running.
Owens hit the jackpot in his first professional game with the Cowboys. You've hit the nail on the head there, David.
Graham didn't reply, but she could see her words had hit home.
Ranieri returned, saw the mess, and hit the roof.
The actress hit back at claims that she had threatened a member of staff. The actress hit back at claims that she had threatened a member of staff. United were a goal down, but hit back with an equaliser.
He hit back by calling his critics lazy.
Then we hit on the idea of asking viewers to donate money over the net.
Dave has hit on most of the women in the department.
When he felt someone grab him, he hit out wildly.
The bishop hit out at the government's policy on the homeless.
Did he hit you up for cash again?
The next morning, Steve hit me with the truth.
The next day we found they'd hit us with a lawsuit.
The hit musical, The Phantom of the Opera.
The Beatles' greatest hits. Which band had a hit with Bohemian Rhapsody?
It's hoped the new museum will be a big hit with families.
Our ship took a direct hit and sank.
The site had 2,000 hits in the first week. The site had 2,000 hits in the first week.
Thousands of irrelevant hits.
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss.
The campaign was rather a hit-and-miss affair.
Hit and run.
Hit and run.
Hitch.
Hitch.
He plans to hitch right round the coast of Ireland.
We hitched a ride with the trucker.
She hitched her skirt above her knees and knelt down.
They got hitched without telling their parents.
Gail hitched herself up onto the high stool. Gail hitched herself up onto the high stool. He hitched our pickup to his trailer. A goat hitched to a fence. I hitched up the horse and drove out into the fields.
In spite of some technical hitches, the first programme was a success.
The whole show went without a hitch.
A half hitch.
Hitchhike. Hitchhike.
She spent her gap year hitchhiking around the world. She spent her gap year hitchhiking around the world.
I picked up a hitchhiker on our way back. High tech.
High tech. Hither. Hither.
Coloured fish darted hither and thither.
Hitherto.
Hitherto.
A species of fish hitherto unknown in the West.
Hit list.
Hit list.
He was on a terrorist's hit list.
The company drew up a hit list of shops it expects to close.
Hitman.
Hitman.
High tops. High tops.
Hit parade.
Hit parade.
Hit squad.
Hit squad.
HIV.
HIV.
Hive.
Hive.
This marketplace was once a hive of activity.
The trend for television companies to hive off their advertising departments. The trend for television companies to hive off their advertising departments.
Hive mind.
Hive mind. When you're online, it's easy to get caught up in the hive mind of the Internet.
Higher.
Hiya.
HM.
HM.
HMS.
HMS.
HMS Belfast.
HNC.
HNC.
HND.
HND.
Ho.
Ho.
Hoard.
Hoard.
The discovery of a hoard of gold coins.
Families who hoarded food during the strike.
I'm a hoarder when it comes to clothes.
Hoarding.
Hoarding.
Advertising hoardings.
Hoarfrost.
Hoarfrost.
A light hoarfrost covered the fields.
Horse.
Horse.
He was hoarse from laughing.
Hoary.
Hoary.
Not that hoary old chestnut again.
Hoax.
Hoax.
A bomb hoax.
Hoax calls to the police. An elaborate hoax.
Hob.
Hob.
Hobble.
Hobble.
He hobbled into the room on crutches.
Many startups are hobbled by a lack of sufficient capital. Hobby.
Hobby.
What are your hobbies?
Susan's hobbies include reading, cooking and drama.
Retirement gave him the time to pursue his hobbies.
A magazine for aircraft modeling hobbyists.
Hobby horse.
Hobby horse.
I'm afraid safe driving isn't Harry's only hobby horse.
Vicky was on her hobby horse again.
Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin.
Hobnailed.
Hobnailed.
Hobnob.
Hobnob.
He spent the first day hobnobbing with the management.
Hobo.
Hobo.
Hobson's choice.
Hobson's choice.
Hock. Hock.
A glass of hock.
The fashion chain is still in hock to the banks.
He's a musician, but his guitar is in hock.
Pork hocks.
Hockey. Hockey.
Hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
He thinks psychology is a load of hocus pocus.
Hod.
Hod.
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge.
Hoe.
Ho.
Hog.
Hog.
Let's go the whole hog and order champagne.
You greedy hog.
How much longer are you going to hog the bathroom?
He's been hogging the limelight.
Hogmanay.
Hogmanay.
Hogshead. Hogshead.
Hogshead.
Hogwash.
Hogwash.
That's a load of hogwash.
Ho-ho.
Ho-ho.
Ho-hum.
Ho-hum.
The main courses were great, but the desserts were ho-hum.
Hoik.
Hoik.
She hoiked her skirt up and began to dance.
Hoi polloi.
Hoi polloi.
Hoist.
Hoist.
The crew hurried to hoist the flag. A boat hoist.
Give me a hoist under your shoulders.
Hokey.
Hokey.
A hokey song.
Hokum.
Hokum.
All that talk is just a bunch of hokum.
Hold.
Hold.
Could you hold my bag for me?
He was holding a knife in one hand.
I held the baby in my arms.
They sat holding hands under a tree. Max held her close and wiped away her tears.
Hold the picture up so we can see it.
This year's conference will be held at the Hilton Hotel.
A Thanksgiving ceremony was held to mark the occasion. A Thanksgiving ceremony was held to mark the occasion.
The funeral was held on a grey day in November.
In April, the president held talks with Chinese leaders.
We used rolled-up newspapers to hold the windows open.
Remember to hold your head up and keep your back straight.
A couple of screws should hold it in place.
Lift your head off the floor and hold this position for 5 seconds. Do you really think he's capable of holding such a responsible position?
She was the first woman to hold the office of Australian State Premier. The governor had held the post since 1989. Whoever is elected will hold office for 4 years.
The programme still holds the record for the longest-running TV series.
The last Briton to hold the title was Bert Nicholson.
Further copies of the book are held in the library.
Weapons were held at various sites.
We can hold the reservation for you until next Friday. You can't expect them to hold the job open for much longer. You'll have to decide whether you want it or not.
A senior army officer was held hostage for 4 months.
Police are holding 2 men in connection with the robbery.
A senior army officer was held hostage for 4 months.
Experts hold varying opinions as to the causes of the disease.
This view is not widely held.
She was held to be one of the most talented actors of her time.
The judge held that the child's interests in this case must come first.
If anything happens to her, I'll hold you personally responsible.
He may have had a terrible childhood, but he should still be held accountable for his own actions.
He holds shares in ICI.
Do you hold a valid passport? Do you hold a valid passport?
A privately held company.
The movie theatre holds 500 people.
The tank should hold enough to last us a few days.
Careful, I'm not sure that branch will hold you.
The bridge didn't look as though it would hold.
The bank is holding interest rates at 4%. The bank is holding interest rates at 4%.
Since then, the pound has held steady against the dollar. Colourful pictures help hold the students' interest.
What I said yesterday holds.
Does your invitation still hold?
20 years on, his advice still holds good.
If our luck holds, we could reach the final.
I'll have a tuna fish sandwich, please, and hold the mayo.
Hold it. We're not quite ready.
They may have lost the game, but I still think they've earned the right to hold their heads high today. They may have lost the game, but I still think they've earned the right to hold their heads high today.
Hold your breath and count to 10.
Julie shrank back against the wall and held her breath.
He promised he'd phone, but I'm not holding my breath.
The President urged his party to hold fire on the issue a few days longer.
Mr. Stevens is busy at the moment. Would you like to hold?
Please hold the line while I transfer you.
The French army held the town for 3 days.
Thousands of workers are waiting to see what the future holds.
Many church services hold little appeal for modern tastes. Many church services hold little appeal for modern tastes.
He was left holding the financial baby when his musical partner joined another band. Among people here, traditional values still hold sway. Among people here, traditional values still hold sway. I reckon you've just got to learn to hold your tongue. I reckon you've just got to learn to hold your tongue. There's not much we can do. They seem to hold all the cards, said Dan gloomily.
She's holding the fort while the manager's on holiday. She's holding the fort while the manager's on holiday. Celtic held the lead in the first half.
We were facing the loss of everything we held dear. You can't still hold that against him, surely.
Police in riot gear held back the demonstrators.
She struggled to hold back her tears.
Anger flooded through her. She couldn't hold it back.
They felt the British economy was being held back by excessive government controls.
In the current situation, many investors are holding back.
She wanted to tell him, but pride held her back. She wanted to tell him, but pride held her back.
Tell me all about it. Don't hold anything back.
We had to hold the tent down with rocks to stop it blowing away. We had to hold the tent down with rocks to stop it blowing away.
It took 3 strong men to hold him down.
We will aim to hold down prices.
He's never held down a job for longer than a few weeks.
The people were held down for centuries by their conquerors.
The speaker was holding forth on the collapse of modern society. The speaker was holding forth on the collapse of modern society.
Buyers have been holding off until the price falls.
Hold off making your decision until Monday.
Not even a gun could hold him off forever.
There's already a crowd of reporters outside. I'll try to hold them off for a while.
The rain held off until after the game.
Hold on, I'll just get my coat.
Hold on a minute. Isn't that your brother's car over there?
Can you hold on? I'll try to find her.
Hold on tight.
Hold on to my arm.
San Francisco held on to win 4-2. The soldiers held on to the bridge for 3 more days. I think I'll hold on to these old records for now.
Negotiators aren't holding out much hope of a peaceful settlement.
Alternative methods which hold out the promise of improved health.
Water supplies won't hold out much longer.
The rebels held out for another night, but then fresh forces arrived.
I didn't know how much longer I could hold out against their relentless questioning.
Transport workers are holding out for a 20% pay rise. She must have been holding out on him all these years. She must have been holding out on him all these years. She must have been holding out on him all these years. The matter was held over for further review.
He knows I've been in prison and is holding it over me.
He admitted he did not hold to the traditional view of God.
I'll ask him tomorrow. OK, but I'm going to hold you to that. Norway held Holland to a 2-2 draw.
Against all expectations, the coalition held together well.
In those days, the church held the community together. Incredibly, the raft held together till we reached the opposite shore. Incredibly, the raft held together till we reached the opposite shore. I wondered how the structure was held together.
The roof is held up by massive stone pillars.
Sorry I'm late. I was held up at work.
2 armed men held up a downtown liquor store last night.
His physical condition has held up well.
The school is held up as a model for others.
This incident will be held up as proof that tougher controls are needed. This incident will be held up as proof that tougher controls are needed.
He says he doesn't hold with all this politically correct stuff. I don't hold with hitting children in any circumstances.
She released her tight hold on the dog.
He tightened his hold, refusing to let her go.
Make sure you keep hold of my hand when we cross the road.
I took hold of her hand and gently led her away.
Grab hold of the rope and pull yourself up.
I need to get hold of a car. She managed to get a hold of a copy. I must get hold of Vanessa to see if she can babysit.
He struggled to get a hold of his emotions. He struggled to get a hold of his emotions.
I've always kept a tight hold on our finances.
I realized that the woman had a hold over my father.
The plans are on hold until after the election.
Since having the kids, my career has been put on hold.
We try not to keep people on hold for more than a couple of minutes.
The agent put me on hold while she consulted a colleague.
The fever was beginning to take hold.
Where on earth did you get hold of that idea?
The cliff was steep and it was difficult to find a hold.
It seems there are no holds barred when it comes to making a profit.
Hold all.
Hold all.
Holder.
Holder.
The 800 meters world record holder.
Season ticket holders are furious at the rise in rail fares.
British passport holders.
Holders of ordinary shares.
Holding.
Holding.
The government has decided to sell its 21% holding in the firm.
Companies with large property holdings.
Holding company.
Holding company.
Holding pattern.
Holding pattern.
My career is in a holding pattern right now.
Holdover.
Holdover.
Her fear of dogs is a holdover from her childhood.
Hold up.
Hold up.
Traffic hold-ups on the highway.
Despite the odd hold-up, we finished on time.
A bank hold up.
Hole.
Hole.
There was a huge hole in the road.
I began digging a hole for the plant.
They climbed through a hole in the fence.
These socks are full of holes.
Bullet holes.
Their departure will leave a gaping hole in Grand Prix racing.
The theory is full of holes.
If you have holes in your game, work on them.
A rabbit hole.
I've got to get out of this hole.
Holidays can make a big hole in your savings.
I need this conversation like a hole in the head.
He holed the putt with ease.
The gunmen are still holed up in the town.
Hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall.
Holy.
Holy.
Holy sweaters.
Holiday.
Holiday.
The school holidays start tomorrow.
I'm away on holiday until the 1st of June.
He came to stay with us in the school holidays. A holiday from her usual responsibilities. We're going to Spain for our holidays. He caught malaria while on holiday in Africa. I haven't had a proper holiday for 2 years.
The 4th of July is a national holiday in the U.S.
The holidaying in Mallorca.